Welcome everyone to the next episode of the Parsec podcast with me, Alfie Toonhill, and my friend Lamel. We'd just like to once again take this opportunity to thank everyone that's followed us, subscribed to us, liked all our pages, commented on all our posts, and help build a little community. As always,
Definitely.
Lamel, just ask you, how's your week been since we last recorded?
Well, firstly, hello. Hello, everybody. Yeah, my week's been fine, mate. Just, again, working away. Long week, early shifts. It's nothing exciting.
Literally nothing else for it in lockdown, is there?
Nothing at all, mate. Nothing at all.
Well, at least we've got this to look forward to, a little discussion about Star Wars and the Mandalorian.
Definitely.
And continuing on with the episodes that we've already covered, we've got the fourth episode. Is it the fourth one?
Yeah. Sanctuary.
Sanctuary. So, introduction out the road. Let's get on to the episode.
Perfect. Okay then, Alpha Toonhill. So, the episode starts that we're introduced to a really peaceful planet. You know, it's a total contrast to where the last episode ended.
Yeah.
As to this one starts, so it's really peaceful. You've got people fishing, children playing around. There's one child that's chasing a frog about.
Very basic.
Yes. Very green planet.
Yeah, what I got is sort of like a simple little village. They live off the land and they all work together to make ends meet.
Yeah, like a tight-knit little village on a planet, basically.
That's right, yeah.
And then obviously we come to a point where the little girl is chasing a frog-like creature that's obviously a native to the planet, blah, blah, blah. And basically we hear a rumble.
Yeah.
When she gets to a bit further out than her mum. And then obviously we hear a lot of, rabble shouting, and then we get laser fire.
Lots of panic.
Yeah, lots of panic. Now, obviously that indicates that there's some kind of mercenary, raider, band that are on that planet that are trying to, loot places, raid them,
effectively steal the food and what these people have worked hard to get. They've been watching them and said, well, we're not going to work hard, we'll just steal theirs.
Yeah. And basically, like you said, that causes almost a riot in the sense of they just come in, they've got guns, these people have nothing to defend themselves. And we come to the focal point of the main characters of that village, which is a mother and a daughter.
Yeah, they're in a pond and they're hiding under a wicker basket.
Yeah, to take shelter from the onslaught, really. And then obviously the last shot in that scene is the mother and the daughter standing up, getting up out of the pond and looking to see the village absolutely looted, decimated. On fire. Yeah. And then we cut to the opening scene. The opening title, sorry.
Just before we sort of move on with that, I did notice I don't know if it was the lead radar or whatever, or it was just giving us a look at what particular species these were, but it looked like sort of dog humans.
Yeah. It looked like the Churchill dog. Oh, yes. So I was actually going to ask you if you knew what...
I don't know what species they are.
No.
If anyone does know, let us know in the comments down below. That'd be interesting to find out. One other thing that I sort of picked up on was when they heard the initial boom, the panic caused, that would indicate to me that, this isn't a one-time occurrence. It's happened many times before.
Yeah. They're definitely used to occasional raids from these people, particularly when these people have ran out of food and they want to come getting food from the villagers that are farming it.
Yeah. Well, that's as much as you can really pick from, you know, the opening scene. It was,
Of
you know,
course.
a short scene, but quite impactful.
Yeah, it sets up the episode well, I think. It
Definitely.
gets right into it. It's very peaceful, and then that certain scene ends like very dramatic and violent.
Yeah.
And then obviously, like I said, it cuts to the title screen, Mandalorian, Chapter 4, Sanctuary.
Yep, and that leads us perfectly into, you know, continue with the episode. We then cut to the Mando, and you know, we're just going to call him Grogu here. We know he's, you know, at this point in the story, we still know him as a child, but for
Yeah.
conversation purposes, it's much easier to say Grogu. So
We all know his name's Grogu.
yeah, we cut to Mando and Grogu on the Razor Crest, and he keeps pushing buttons, which is ticking off Mando. He said
Yep.
that, you know, he says, you know, stop touching things. Which obviously he's a child, so
That means do it again.
yeah, they can be very taxing. Whilst Mando's sort of flickering about with his, you know, his nav computer, he does say that the planet's called Sorgan.
Yes, yes. And he also sets a backwater skug hole, which means it's obviously right in the outer hands of, well, which would be now the New Republic, but also like the Empire's still lurking about. So
Yeah, the remnants.
yeah,
At this point, you know, Mando calls Grogu a womp rat. Now, this shows to me that, you know, we've seen in previous episodes that they are building a relationship. However, this to me it sort of makes me think that Mando sees Grogu as a pet rather than a child.
yeah. The way he speaks to him is, you know, almost like a dog or a cat. You know, you like further on in this scene when when this actually lands on the planet, he tells him to stay.
Yeah, yeah. So just before they do get onto the planet, it does. Mando does say that they're going to be there for a few months. Obviously, they are going there to lie low, but it's a good indication of how long, you know, this episode spans.
Yeah, definitely. Again, we'll cover that later in the episode, but there is a moment in it towards the end of the episode when you do find out the time scale that they have been on this planet.
Yeah. So just going back to what you were saying there, when they, you know, they land on the planet, he tells Grogu to stay. He then sort of goes to make his way out, and naturally Grogu follows him. And Mando just gives in and says, "To hell with it! Come on, let's go." They head into sort of, I don't know if it's a town or we don't really see, but it kind of heads into a wooden cantina, or maybe it's just a food hall.
Yeah, I think it's more of like a kind of in our terms, it would be like a pub bar,
Bar restaurant.
Bar restaurant. Aye,
Yeah, not so much
bar.
solely just a pub, but you know, a
Yeah.
Witherspoons.
Yeah, without the stairs.
Yeah. Guy, could you imagine Grogu trying to go to the toilet in a Witherspoons?
The episode would be about 3 years long.
He'd be 100 years old, never mind 50.
Which obviously leads us into there, and they walk into like the cantina, and I forgot the name of this species of
I know what you're going to say. It's a loth cat.
a loth cat. That's it, from Lothal, isn't it?
Yeah, in Rebels.
Yeah. So I couldn't remember where I seen them.
Yeah, from Rebels.
But it's Rebels. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them scares Grogu, because Grogu, like, obviously is a baby, even though he's 50 years old.
Yeah.
Which can happen to men, you know. we're all babies and kids at heart, you know.
Why?
But yeah, so he does get scared by this because the cat kind of, or the loth cat does kind of jump at him. So
They then sort of sit at a table, and the Mando orders Grogu a bowl of bone broth.
yeah.
And at that point, we sort of got a slight shot of Cara Dune.
Yeah, in the background. And then straight away, Mando notices her. I don't know if he knows her at this point. I think he just recognises her tattoos, and she's got like a Rebel Alliance badge under her eye.
Yeah, first time I saw it, I thought it was like a teardrop.
Yeah, so did I. I thought she was like a big hard gangster or something.
In the jail.
But no, it's a Rebel Alliance badge.
Mando sort of tries to get information out of the bartender or the food worker, waitress, whatever you call it. Tries to get information, and she's not very much help. So then
she just keeps calling him sir.
Yeah. We then cut back to the table where Cara was sitting, and she's gone. Mando then tips the waitress, says look after the kid. He immediately then goes outside, and he flicks a switch on his helmet, and he's got a sort of tracking device which is similar to something you would see a pair called Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Red footprints.
It's very Call of Duty-ish, if I'm being honest. It's like playing Warzone.
I know. So then obviously he catches up. Well, he doesn't catch up. He goes round the back and again hunts for Cara, who swings on a pipe of some sort and 2 foot some.
That's a good description of it. Yeah,
Drop
floors
kick.
Drop floors them.
They have a scrap, and which eventually results in the both of them on the deck, pointing their blasters, sort of like a gridlock. And then you get a bit of a comical moment where Grogu's been watching the whole thing whilst drinking his soup.
And he's just like,
what
he's doing?
And then Mando's like, do you want some soup?
Yeah, it's a comical moment. And that's the thing with this series. It's got the dark moments, the heroic moments, and the comedy. It all comes into one, so it's like it works.
What I'd say is different is it's not sort of directly stupid in your face funny that we got with some of the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Just for example, in the sort of first scene or first couple of scenes of The Force Awakens, you've got Poe who gets captured by Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren's meant to be the big evil, and he's like, who talks first? I talk first. In the cinema, it was funny, but then when you go back and watch it, nah.
Yeah, I mean, some of those, we're obviously talking about The Force Awakens just now, but some of those comedic moments are quite funny, like when BB-8 does the...
Yeah, that's good. That's not blatantly silly.
Yeah, but they were trying too hard to be funny in the sequels.
And that's what makes it not funny. C-3PO in The Rise of Skywalker, he was hilarious.
Yeah.
Because he was in character.
Yeah.
The one bit I hated in The Last Jedi was Luke's just been handed his old lightsaber and he just goes like that. For me, awful.
Yeah,
that film gets enough hate, but come on.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great film, was it?
No, but it's just like we got 30 seconds of Luke in The Force Awakens. Rey's handing him his old lightsaber that he lost, his dad's lightsaber, and he just launches it. Luke Skywalker's not doing that, is it?
No, exactly. And, one day we might get like the sequel we all want, the Luke Skywalker in his prime. You never know.
You never know. But that would be, for another episode. We'll get back on track here. So we see Cara, Mando and the child back in the food hall, back in the canteen, whatever you want to call it. And they're all sitting around the table. This kind of shows us that Mando and Cara actually know each other, and maybe that was just a playful fight. Yeah,
possibly like, hiya, how you doing kind of thing. Yeah. Just to kind of mark dominance.
Right, maybe. At this point we find out that, she was in the Rebel Alliance, and the reason why she attacked him actually is because she believed, that he may have had
he was out to get her.
Right, hunting her as a bounty, because she does mention that she knows he's part of the guild. So she's like, no offence, but I thought you were coming to get me.
Yeah. And obviously, who wouldn't in this kind of galaxy? Who wouldn't do that? If you
Exactly. How
think you're being
lawless it
hunted,
is.
you've got
Exactly.
to be.
And she
You've
can also
constantly got.
handle herself.
Yeah. I mean, I think was she not a shock trooper
Yeah, that's
or a
right.
drop trooper?
It is mentioned she's a shock trooper, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think we've actually seen the shock troopers in action, have we? In any films or anything like that? Rebels, maybe.
Off the top of my head, I can't remember.
Yeah, kind of. But she was definitely one of them because it is mentioned.
Yeah. So that was just a little sort of interlude section. Mando's then back at the Razor Crest and he is approached by two villagers.
Yep.
And the villagers are aware what Mandalorians look like because, they mention it to him. They want to employ him to help with the raiders, and Mando says, "You can't afford me," pretty much.
Yeah, that's not enough. They've got like one bag of what I presume is credits. I think it is credits because he gives them. Yeah, so I mean, he's obviously quite. We know that from previous episodes that his price is high.
Yep. And
from the last episode,
it also shows that he is still in bounty hunter mode.
Yeah.
We've not got thinking about the credits here.
Yeah, he's focused on the job at hand, but also I think his job right now is to protect Grogu.
Mm-hmm. That's right. The villagers sort of accept defeat and they said, right, we need to go back to live in the middle of nowhere. At that point, Mando's light bulbs goes off. He agrees to help as long as he gets lodging, i.e. if he gets a room to stay. He also takes the bag of credits, but he doesn't sort of keep them for himself. He goes and gives the credits to Cara, obviously to employ her to help him with this project.
Yeah, and she's like in the middle of the forest with a fire on in the middle of nowhere, kind of just sitting, doing nothing.
So there's not much reason why she would decline. At that point, they think it's going to be a simple job, but it's just a bunch of thugs. Between them, easy money. So they're on like a droid-pulled cart. We see that it start at night. They then fall asleep, wake up in the morning at the village. This shows just how far away in the middle of nowhere the village is. Shows just a basic passage of time.
Yep. And obviously when they get to the village, the villagers, in particular the kids at the village, they're very, very excited to see them. In particular Grogu, who is loving the attention, as you can see in the...
That's right. This maybe shows that, these children don't see strangers a lot. They don't see other people out with the village.
Yeah, because like
apart
you said,
from obviously the raiders.
Yeah, well, like you said, it's taken that long to get there. So if it's going to take that long, who's going to be traveling to it,
Yeah. We then sort of cut to Mando in his room that he's been given with the woman. And it does seem like Mando's, he's thankful, but he's very uncomfortable with, people showing him even a little bit of affection, just, are you okay? Offering food, making sure he's okay, things like that. He says thank you, but you can tell he's not the most comfortable.
Yeah, it's a very awkward conversation he has with, I called her the mother because she's like...
the mother and the child, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, like, he's had that conversation with her. He's thanked her for, the lodgings, helping him sort it out.
Yeah.
And then she takes her leave, and him and Grogu are allowed to settle in at their own pace.
Yeah. And then, the child, the mother's child feeds Grogu because the mother brings in food for them. And then after that, the mother's child wants to take Grogu out to play, and straight away Mando's not comfortable with it, but the mother interviews and said they'll be fine.
Yeah, he's very against that, which obviously I think personally shows his development as the kind of father figure towards Grogu.
Well, a twofold nature, really. He's starting to care about the welfare of the child, and also,
Yeah.
Like, he knows other bounty hunters will still be there.
Yeah, you think about to the start of the episode when we were describing his treatment of Grogu like a kind of dog,
Yeah.
to this point where he's kind of treating him like a person, like his
Yeah.
child, a
Mhm.
child.
Yeah. The mother sort of asks when the last time someone saw him without his helmet on. He then looks out the window and says, "Not much older than them." So that shows, the space of time that he's had this helmet on. Well, not
Yeah,
without another person seeing him, should I say?
yeah, he did. She did ask him like first off, when was the last time you removed your helmet? He looks away and goes, "Yesterday."
25 minutes ago.
Yeah, but obviously, like you said, he mentions to her that he's not had his helmet. He's not had his helmet off in front of another being
Mhm.
since he was a small child, and those children in this episode can't be older than 8, 9 years old.
Yeah.
We also learn at this point that Mando's mum and dad were killed.
Yeah, but I think we could, like previously, we could put two and two together, but in this episode, we hear it from the horse's mouth, and then it's etched in stone. Now we know what happened.
Exactly, and we also get a first shot of, well, basically Mando without his helmet off, without his helmet on, but we don't actually see his face. We just see him put the helmet on the sideboard
so they can
and
eat
watch. Yeah, and watch Grogu and the children play.
That's right. But then cut to the next scene where it's Mando and Cara walking through the forest. And again, they're following tracks. Mando says that something, he looks up at the trees and he says that something big has passed through this.
Yeah.
They then come to sort of, I don't know if it's a hill or whatever it is, but they see a large footprint.
Yes, and obviously Cara Dune knows exactly what that is, and she mentions it's an ATST.
That's right, and then Mando pipes up and says an Imperial Walker.
Which, if the ATST is the ones out of the Return of the Jedi.
The smaller ones, so it's not the
camels.
Yeah, not the AT-ATs or AT-ATs, but it's just the ones with two legs and a head, which means head in Scotland.
Spelt H-E-I-D.
Correct. So they go back to the village and basically tell the villagers, "You're out of luck. You have to
Can't
move.
live there.
We've no chance."
Yeah, they can't live there anymore.
The crowd get obviously a bit upset at this, and they basically say, "Well, you agreed to help." And Cara was like, "Yeah, but you didn't tell us they had a walker."
Yeah, which they knew about, apparently.
Yeah. So we were like, at this point, it was just Cara and Mando that had to deal with this. The villagers said, "No, well, we'll help. We'll let we can help." And then they say,
Mother
right,
pipes up.
Yep, they say, right, okay, let's do it. We then cut to sort of a sort of training montage where Cara and Mando are talking the villagers through the plan. Basically said, right, what we'll do is we'll go to their base, lure them out, and then you will be ready, and then we can take out the walker, and then it'll go from there.
Yeah, they've got a plan to basically lure the walker into a pond or like a gorge.
I put a trench. Like I don't know if it was like, oh, maybe one of the ponds that the fish were in, or if they actually made the trench. I'm not too sure.
Again, it shows the amount of time that's gone through, because they're training with the villagers with guns, pikes, and we do also learn or see that the mother and child, the mother is actually really good at shooting.
Yeah, the Mando who has experience with shooting, and she's the only one that responds.
Yeah, and we see that about a minute later when when they're all lined up shooting at like pots and pans, and they're all missing, and she's like proper sharp shooting this saucepan looks like, and she's hitting it every time.
The blasters do we actually know if they go? Is it shown that they go back to the Razor Crest and get these, or is that just sort of hinted at?
I think it's just hinted at, but obviously,
where else would they get them?
Yeah, we've seen Mando's big cupboard full of them. So
yeah, so obviously we've got Cara who is training them on melee combat, and Mando with the blasters. We then cut back to sort of Mando's lodging, and he preps the women saying, be ready because me and Cara's going. We then see Cara circling the house, giving them the nod, saying, "Right, Chico, let's go."
Yeah, and I mean, you can see like a kind of relationship developing between Mando and the mother.
Very much so.
And you wonder, like, is he going to take his helmet off in this episode? It's already been teased.
Mm-hmm.
Is she going to be able to get it off him?
Yeah, that's a setup.
Are they going to, mingle?
Get on. Anyway,
yeah, but
without delving too much into that, we then get into the action scene, which is very much reminiscent of the second episode, where you get a good portion build up, and then boof, the big action sequence.
Yeah, it all really kicks off when Cara Dune and Mando, they sneak into the Raider camper in a Raider tent.
Yeah,
and basically, have a fight with about 8-9 Raiders, whilst trying to obviously entice them to the village. And Mando sets like a thermal detonator in the tent.
Just whilst they're in the tent, is it actually said what they're brewing?
No, but I know a guy gets drowned.
Is it? Them, so. Do you think is it maybe like a holding tank for the fish they've stolen? On my first thought, I thought it was maybe Bacta.
Yeah, it looks cloudy, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And it's in like these, lit up chamber kind of thing, chamber pots.
Yeah,
like that. I know that's what you shoved under your bed in Victorian days, but they're all. It's strange. I don't know what it is.
But it doesn't really matter. It's not integral to the story.
No.
There's a small sort of blaster fight. Mando and Cara just get out of the tent before the detonator goes off. Whilst they're on the ground, we see in the sort of trees the AT-ST rises.
And it's weird because it's got red eyes.
I picked up on that, but I said that sort of red light, and then the windows look like eyes. It's not specifically, like, is this an AT-ST that they've modified
Probably.
into a droid, or is it still man-powered?
Well, we never see anybody driving it, which is very strange because on the Return of the Jedi, in the Return of the Jedi, I should say, we know that the guys with the weird-looking helmets drive them, and then Chewie obviously took over one.
Yeah.
So
I think in this one it's left up to sort of viewers' interpretation. Like, that was one thing I was a bit dodgy about, because they did make it like the AT-ST was not even a droid. It made it out like it was an animal. Yeah.
I mean, it must be driven by somebody, but it's most likely just not added in because it's not really important.
Yeah, I think they're just, to make it seem like it's more powerful than it actually is, they make it seem like it's its own being. But, we know that it's a driven thing. The Walker then chases Mando and Cara back to the village, where we cut to the villagers that are ready and waiting for the attack.
Yeah, they're all, perched, ready to fire upon whatever's coming through the trees.
Yep. So Cara and Mando get back into their trench, waiting on the Walker to follow, to put a foot into the trench and fall over. And we know if once they're falling over, they're done. But just as the AT-ST is about to put its foot into the water and fall, it actually stops mid-step.
Yeah, like it knows what's happening.
Mm-hmm. A
It's
big, huge light sort of descends on the village. It stops on a particular building and blasts it to smithereens.
it's obviously like it knows something's up, or the person inside it, if there is one, knows that there's something up. So
Yeah.
they're searching. It's like a searchlight spotlight you would get at a military base or something like that.
Uh-huh. The village is then charged on by raiders.
Yep. Yeah, they begin to, you know, we begin like basically like warfare in the village.
Yeah, like old school warfare.
Yeah, like charge.
Yep. At this point, we know Kara sort of knows, right, our initial plan's not working here. So she takes the pulse rifle off of Mando, his sniper, and, runs to another sort of pond area and shoots a shot
A
through
blast.
one of its eyes or the
Yeah.
windows. And at this point, it looks like the ATST or the Walker. It looks like it's angry, which
Yeah.
again goes
Yeah.
back to is it a living being sort of thing in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, it's strange because when she shoots it in the eye, it falls over.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, did she shoot the driver?
Well,
Like, is the driver strapped in? So if he's upright, it's upright, or is she
yeah.
falls over?
Has it lost control? Yeah, to me it seemed like it got angry and it was going to charge forward, but then it sort of hit the deck, and then Mando runs and destroys it with another thermal detonator.
Yeah.
At this point, you get a couple of small scenes of the villagers beating up the raiders, and then the raiders take their leave and retreat.
Yeah, they run away, and it's a victory for the village.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. You can see everyone's happy. The villagers have won, and then in complete contrast, the very next scene, the village is peaceful once again.
Yeah, very back to the start. Although they're a lot more peaceful than they have been, because they've not got the raiders to worry about anymore.
Yeah, there's no stress. They can just get back to farming the fish, taking care of the crops. Typical. Literally, if you're living off the land, just sort of chilled out way of life that they've got.
Yeah.
We go back to Grogu. He's very much having a ball with it.
He's eating a frog,
and the mother says to Mando, he's very happy in the village.
Yeah, there's a kind of coming of age moment for Grogu, because he's like in the middle of being what a small child is, like going in about the muck, eating all different things, and he's eating a frog, and the children are like basically going, ooh, like disgusting kind of thing, and he kind of gets embarrassed and spits it out.
Yeah.
So it shows that he's developing a personality as well.
That's right. After the mother walks off, Kara's sitting next to Mando, and he's like, she blatantly comes out and says, "What happens if you take the helmet off?" Mando sort of responds very, respectfully, "Oh, I can never put it back on." And Kara's like, "Is that it? What's stopping you from taking that helmet off, getting it in amongst the mother, and having a peaceful life with Grogu and the villagers?"
Yeah, I mean it would be a peaceful life, because even he does get told that he can hang his armor up, and if anything does happen again, he can come back to it.
Yeah, like just keep it there. If you need it, it's there. But why don't you just enjoy your life? It then cuts to someone's hand with a tracking fob, so we know something's up. That's the thought of a peaceful life that's shattered.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mando is actually, he's a bit, he's sad about that, because he did say that he's going to be moving on, he decides that he is going to be moving on, but he's going to leave Grogu there with the mother.
Yeah.
Which who he has a conversation with before this, asking him another awkward conversation, I might add. But yeah, he does ask if she would look after him.
She agrees, and then she actually asks him to stay as well, and
Yeah.
then goes to take off his helmet, which we think is he going to let her? To which he stops and he says, my place isn't here.
Yeah, and then as this is happening, we see a small glimpse of the bounty hunter with a scope, and he's basically looking down the scope, and then he goes to Grogu, and then
how does it go?
I'm just trying to, keep
very sniper-esque there, I must say. Yeah, so he goes to, he lines up a shot on Grogu's head, and then we hear a blaster bolt, or a blaster fire, should I say. Mando, quick as a flash, turns round, he says, "Get the children inside." We then think, oh dear.
Yeah. You immediately think the worst there.
Yep. We then cut to the bounty hunter, who falls, and we see Cara, arm extended with her blaster, who's just, saved the day, saved Grogu's life. And then, Mando obviously goes, finds her, and we find out, that Mando finds out that's, he's then still stuck with Grogu.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mando now knows that he's taken on a burden that is going to be with him for a long time now. Grogu himself's never going to be safe until the people that are hunting him have, gone.
Dealt with, yeah.
And the only way Mando can do that is pick them off one by one when they come looking.
Pretty much. So, he is in a state of flux right now. So, he knows he still has to look after this child. He doesn't know who to take it to, where to take it to. But all he can do is take it with him. They pack up their belongings, get back on the cart, and say goodbye to the villagers. The child of, the mother of this episode is very upset that Grogu has to leave.
Yeah, we get the last interaction with the child and the mother as well. The child and Grogu and the mother and Mando.
And this point again shows just how long they've been there. The two children, or Grogu and the daughter, shall we say, are they're very friendly, which shows that times passes, so that when they do have to leave, it's hurtful.
Yeah, there is a bit in just the scene before that when they were at peace and everything before the bounty hunter came. Cara Dune does say that they caused some havoc in the village a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it shows you, they've been there for 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 weeks. You never know.
Yeah, it's not days, it's weeks.
Yeah, so it's a long time they're there.
So and then after that, we get the credits. So overall thoughts of this episode, Lamel?
Yeah, I mean, I thought, again, you know what I really thought? And I got, on our Instagram page, there was somebody that messaged, we got a message the other day on one of the photos they put up, and they mentioned that it was a very underrated episode of the series, and I would agree with that. I did message back, and I did agree with that. So thanks for, first of all, commenting and interacting with us.
That's great, yeah. I'd love to see more, but hopefully in time we can build that. Yeah,
I mean, I think it was a very, very underrated episode of the series, like our friend said. And also, I think the character development in this episode was brilliant from start to finish. And obviously we have the introduction of Cara Dune into the Star Wars universe as well.
Which we can see in future episodes as a vital character to Mando.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to maybe once we get done with the Mandalorian, so we can maybe say something negative at the end of an episode, because I just feel every single time we get to this point, we're just like, 10, 10, 10.
I mean, it is very hard to pick out a negative. For going with negatives, I would say with the ATST with, is it a driver, is it not a driver?
But again, if you're nitpicking at that,
yeah,
just goes to show how well written, well directed the episode, like the series is. Like the only thing we can pick up is saying sort of negative is that we've not been spoon fed to say someone's driving this or it's a droid or whatever. So
yeah, exactly. It's left.
If that's the only criticism we've got, they're doing no bad.
You know what? It's left to the imagination, and that's what's good about it.
Exactly. Sometimes, that's what's the joy of Star Wars. Like personally, I think we should never find out what species Yoda, Yaddle, and Grogu are. That's just one of these little things that I think, there's how many books, how many mention of specific species is there, and I think it's been running on since we first seen Yoda and The Empire Strikes Back. Just keep that. We don't need to know. Like, is it vitally important that we need to know?
No, I wouldn't say so. I don't think we need to know what species they are. I think the Star Wars fan base, fandom, whatever you want to call it, is kind of 50-50 on that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Half do not, half do.
Yeah.
I'm kind of bang in the middle with that. Like, I would like to know Yoda, Yaddle, Grogu, the species origin,
mm-hmm.
but I don't think I would want to know what species it is, because it's easy just referring to them as Yoda. If you think about it.
It's kind of hilarious because until we knew, Grogu's name, it was Baby Yoda.
Exactly.
We don't know if he's connected to Yoda in any way, shape, or form apart from being the same species. So everyone's like, Baby Yoda, Baby Yoda.
Yeah,
no one called him the child.
Or Baby Yaddle.
But Yoda's the more prominent in Star Wars.
Exactly. I know. But for us nerds, yeah, so it's a 50-50 one, I think.
I know, but with that being said, we'll wrap things up now and we'll do an outro. Well, Emil, that wraps up another edition of the Parsec podcast. I'd just like to say to everyone, I hope you enjoyed all our previous episodes. If you've not watched them, go ahead and let us know what you thought. I hope you enjoyed this one. I'm going to pass you over to Lamel, who's going to take you through, our socials again, and thanks for the support.
Yeah, so like my friend Alpha Toon Hill here said, if you liked our video today, you can find the rest of our videos on our YouTube channel, which is just Parsec Podcast. You'll get the link in the bio of our Instagram account and our Twitter account, which I'll tell you just now. So our Twitter is Parsec Podcast 66 with the A at the front, obviously, and the Instagram is at Parsec_podcast_66. So keep it nice and simple, both the same name, just Instagram being difficult and have to put underscores on it. And we also have a Facebook page, which is just under Parsec Podcast.
Yep, that's great. If you know anyone that likes Star Wars that you can maybe share with, help us again build a little bit of community so we can get more outreach. That would be much appreciated. Myself, I've got a Twitch page. It's twitch.tv/AlphaToonHill. That's ALFAETOONHILL. Just stream all sorts of things from Call of Duty to Star Wars Battlefront to Animal Crossing, the lot. Hopefully, when the lockdown restrictions get removed, maybe we can get Lamel through and we can do a stream together at some point.
Yeah, hoping for that quite soon. I think here in Scotland, I think we're here in probably about March time, I would say. But we're not getting our hopes up, are we?
No, because just take each day as it comes. That's all we can do. And with that being said, again, thank you for your support. It does help. It does drive us. It keeps us going. And with that, Alpha Tune Hill signing off. Just like to hope everyone stays safe and keeps the chin up.
Yeah, again, stay safe. Keep to the rules, the restrictions, everything like that. I know it's a nightmare just now, but just keep to it. We'll get out of it. But yep, this is me signing off as well. And this has been The Way. And may the force be with you.
Ta-ta.